Welcome in Michael Bublé. I have to assume, Michael, that song was written about your relationship with the Vancouver Canucks, a team you will never not love.
No. It's funny. That was such a beautiful piece of production there that you put together to the song, which is going to be a hit song for me, by the way. Thank you,
of course.
Lord. But you guys missed. I think for me, the most touching point of the season was missed in that clip. And I don't want to put down the producers because I know they're really hard on this stuff. But I know, and it was probably too late to do it, but that should have ended with that touching Marchand and Jarry, just the love, just the way he just love tapped him with his stick and just gave him that gentle, I care about you.
Respect amongst brothers.
Tears in my eyes. If that would have happened, there would have been tears in my eyes.
Marshy, nobody like Brad Marchand, that's for sure.
What's he gonna get, guys? I say he gets 3.
Well, you know what? Mike Johnson this morning on our show meeting was like, he shouldn't be suspended for anything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not great. We don't like it, but it's not suspendable. So
I think 3 games is reasonable.
Listen,
I need him to get 3 to 5 games because I traded him this morning for Svechnikov on my fantasy hockey team because I was desperate to win. I can't have a guy out for 5 games. So it has to be at least that, or I'm going to feel like an idiot.
So, Michael, of course, you were a longtime Vancouver Canucks super fan. Dare I say, like, the biggest celebrity NHL fan? I feel like that's accurate. But what was it like for you growing up in Vancouver and being this lifelong fan of the Canucks?
Well, it started, I think the earliest memory I had was I was probably about 6 or 7 years old. And I remember my dad taking me to the games and watching Kevin Bieksa. That was a dig at Kevin because I definitely know he's not that old. No, it's funny. It's probably very similar for you ladies. Hockey has been such a massive part of growing up, and with my family, it's very sentimental for me. Just the same way probably for a lot of American kids, they remember Thanksgiving and football and parties where your uncles are drunk and yelling at each other and making bets, and that's what it was for me. It was just there's just great memories of a warm, loud frenzy as. We have relatives from all over the world, or from Toronto. And my grandfather one year, I think it was about 8 or 9. And I believe I went to almost every single home game. We had seasons tickets. And so both my mother's dad and my father's dad would both take turns taking me. And I just thought it was the most beautiful, fascinating, wonderful game. And I think as I've gotten older, I just have more and more respect for it. I know that there's such a great code. And one of the things about the sport that I think people don't talk about enough is the humility. In all these other sports, it's just everything's a big, weird, cringy show off. And, even I love soccer, but, they lay down for half an hour. There's just something that's so cool about the code of this game, and that you score a goal, and the great ones, they don't even lift up their hands. They just sort of, humbly accept that they're amazing. And I just always felt it was very cool to be a part of.
Yeah, they act like they've been there before, a lot of the guys in the NHL, that is for sure. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, what you're saying about the emotional connection, right? Like when people ask me, like, how did you get into hockey? I'm like, I don't even know. It was just always there for me when I was growing up with my dad. That's like the center of our bond, I feel like, is the love of hockey. But I'll ask you this. You came on here giving us your Marchand suspension analysis. Give us your analysis of yourself as a hockey player. I know you've been on the ice. I know you play hockey. So give us the Michael Bublé breakdown, draft profile, if you will, of your game on the ice.
Yeah, I think they would say he lacks speed and strength and talent, but he has a real passion for the game. I'm a lot better now than I was then. Is that me? Or is that Justin Bieber? Why do I look like a potato in that jersey? What the hell is going on?
It's you.
You know what? The best. I had that practice. That was after a breakaway on Luongo, where they asked Roberto, so what was it like having this Bublé come in this breakaway? And he said, well, he started off slow, and then he slowed down even more. I love it, you guys. I just love it. I love playing it. I love playing any kind of hockey, ball hockey, ice hockey. I play a lot, and I'm terrible, but I love it. I got pretty good hands. I got pretty soft hands. I think I can, I spent a lot of time by myself as a kid. Okay. So my parents always say to this day that our garage, they spent so much money having to drywall over and over again because I would just sit all day with a puck and I would just do target practice. And so unfortunately I was from Vancouver, so there wasn't the ability to skate like so many kids in Eastern Canada and through the prairies where it gets cold and you can just go out after school. And, for me, it was my dad waking up at 6 a.m, taking me to 4 rinks at the time. And, you get on the ice for about 20 minutes and that's it. So I learned to skate more from rollerblades. So I wish I had learned to skate better.
What about the home rink? Don't you have a rink at your house? Tell me about that. I mean, that's literally every Canadian kid's dream. High five to you.
Who doesn't have a home rink at their house? That was like the dumbest thing that was like, I'm so happy I did it now. But I mean, I have never made a more MC Hammer move than doing that. It was like, why don't you go and spend this ridiculous amount of money? Anyway, my kids love it. And it's pretty awesome, I have to say.
I'll ask you this. Who are the best and worst celebrities that you've played hockey with? Like if you're like having a game of shinny or you're playing with some of your friends, like who's good and who's terrible?
I haven't had a ton of, I got a lot of, I get to play with NHLers or kids on the team that I'm part owner of. But as celebrities go, I've watched celebrities play, but I haven't played against them. Like I've seen Bieber play. Bieber's a great little skater. He looks like a really good player to me. He looks really solid. What's his name? Dennis Leary. He looks really good to me. Jerry Bruckheimer. There's like a bunch of guys who play a lot, It's weird, I always wanted to play in like summer leagues and stuff, but I could never be there. I played on one team and I made like 2 games and then they got choked with me because I kept saying, sorry, I'm in Dubai on Friday. I can't come. I'm in Spain. Sorry. So it made it difficult.
When you are on tour, which arenas do you like to be in the most that really gives you that like hockey vibe? I mean, some of them have such a cool backstage.
Mm-hmm. I love Minnesota. I love playing in Minnesota. I've always said that. They're, it kind of reminds me of being home. The great crowds. I love, playing in Vegas is a great building. There are a lot of great buildings. It's the people that make it so special. And so everywhere I go, when you get to be connected to so many beautiful souls in one place, it's unreal. Like they pay you for that. And you get to go and have a party for 2 hours and take people away. And lately that's meant even more to me because this world is crazy. It's crazy. And crazy. we need some love.
We certainly do. Well, we know that you've played in a lot of venues musically. Do you ever take advantage of some of these NHL rinks, or maybe it's junior rinks that you're playing in, and use the ice for yourself? Get out there,
all
play
the time.
Really? So how does that work? Do you
what a dream.
play against like the tour crew? How do you set up like a game?
Well, I have about 120 people on tour, 100 and something like that, that work with me, and we've worked together for 20 years. A lot of them are Canadians. And I got actually, it's one of the guys who likes playing most is from Buffalo. And so we'd all bring our hockey gear and we'd throw it under the bus. And then my tour manager, Dean, who had gone and toured before with the Bare Naked Ladies, and they do that with the BNL. They would just, he'd go to the rink and say, hey, can we show up the day before? Is the ice still in? Or sometimes they have practice facilities and stuff and we'll go and play. But
do you ever play against like the staff of the venues? Do they ever like get in the mix with you?
Oh yeah, like yeah, absolutely. It's weird. It's weird, and we play ping pong more, I think, than anything else because it's easier. But we had serious. Listen, I'm not kidding. I have played ping pong with presidents, prime ministers, movie stars, and beat them all.
No
I
one can
bet.
turn that down. Good. You got to have those quick hands. You said you're that finesse guy. You
Yeah,
got those soft hands,
that's
and it
right.
translates to ping pong. We
Yeah.
like it. Really quickly, the pressures of performing the national anthem, because there have been some doozies, there have been some blunders over the years. When you're going out to perform the national anthem, what kind of pressure is that on an artist?
You know, I realized that I probably wasn't going to do it anymore. Well, this is Mark Donnelly. He's about to go over that carpet, and there you go, Mark.
Oh,
He like took it in stride though. This is so
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah, he let the crowd sing mostly anyway, so we didn't really miss out too much there. Honestly, you guys, I know Fergie. You know Fergie?
Yes.
And she's a very nice lady, and she's been nothing but wonderful to me. And the other day, my buddy sent me her singing the anthem at a basketball game, and
Oh, wasn't
I
it
realized
NBA All-Star at one point?
that's what it, yeah. I just knew the moment I saw it. I thought I will never ever do that again. You know, because it's really hard, you know, not to want people to love you, and you know, you have this moment to show them. Let me show you my vocal prowess. You know, did you see it the other night at the All-Star game? Are you kidding me?
Mhm.
Are we even joking? Did you know exactly what I'm talking about? That dude opened his mouth and he said, "Oh, say, can you see?" And I said, like, oh my God, he's amazing. I don't know who he is, but I want to sound like him. And then I watched it and I had like goosebumps and I was like, this dude is killing it. This dude is who all of us want to be. And then he got to the end and he did that thing. You know what I'm talking about? And for a minute, I thought a velociraptor had attacked him.
It was like that like falsetto thing, right? Like that.
Yeah,
that Mariah
he went up an octave
thing.
and just, and I said, and it was once again, it was like, okay, Michael, this is a sign you are not to do the anthem. Because I would do something like that. And I would never do like a Roseanne thing, disrespectful thing. But, you know, I'm full of stupidity and we just never know what might come out of this mouth and
Yeah,
this
you
brain.
never know.
I can't imagine
lock it up.
the pressure of doing a national anthem. I'm nervous right now, and I would never even be in that situation. Just thinking about it gives me a little bit of anxiety.
Yeah.
But you know what, Michael? I cannot have a conversation about hockey, especially with a Vancouver Canucks fan, without asking about my boy Bruce. I need to know what your thoughts are on the Bruce There It Is era that has begun for the Vancouver Canucks, because he shows up in Vancouver, waves a magic wand, and everybody's confident and happy and playing well right now.
I got to know Francesco Aquilini pretty well, and it was just really, I would say, satisfying to get to know a guy who cares so much about the team, and he's a fan, and I think it was great, obviously, and I'm friends with a lot of the guys, and it's a different environment. I think Travis was a really wonderful coach. He's a great coach, and I really like Travis a lot as a human being. I don't know if Travis was the right fit for the group of guys he had then. You know, I think stylistically, and I think Bruce is. I mean, these guys their confidence were low a little bit, and he has a way of bringing that sense of positivity to the rink. And I think Francesco and his team, his family did a great job. It's great having an owner that cares. I mean, I'm a fan just like anyone else. And, it's amazing when you have a family like that loves hockey, that cares about the players, that, he gives them every chance they can to compete. You spend at the cap, and he stays out of the way, which is interesting. Cause as a fan, I would always hear how the owners were always,
Getting involved. Yeah.
He is not. And I can tell you honestly that he does not want to get involved in that. He wants to be responsible for helping to bring a great environment and help these guys to be as best they can be, because I have sat and watched hockey games with him, and he cares as much as I do. We're both sweaty when we watch. So I think it's honestly, I think it's great. I think Jim is a really incredibly smart an experienced guy. And I think it's really great. I really do think it's great for those guys. And I think it can get even better. I really do. I think I kept saying it to everyone who'd listened. I don't think the Vancouver Canucks had a hockey problem. I don't. These guys, these kids, they didn't just all of a sudden lose all their talent. Just confidence is, And it's funny because I feel as an entertainer, we have so much in common. I mean, I'm friends with a ton of athletes through the spectrum of sports, and it's because we have so much in common. It really is. It's a confidence game. And sometimes it's in your head, you know, and you just, you know, I know for myself, if I feel good and I'm in a good headspace and I've got good people around me, I'm just way better at what I do. And I hold my microphone a lot less tightly. And I think that if you watch them, they're having fun at the rink again.
Yeah, the mental side of the game is definitely something that I even think now we still don't talk about enough, but it is certainly a massive factor. And the Canucks are way better than the first 6 weeks of the season indicated. That is for sure. I think we're running out of time. I did want to ask you one more quick question, if I can. What is like the craziest, most emotional reaction you've ever had to a Canucks victory?
Henrik Sedin was trying to win, I believe, what's the scoring title called? Was it the Art Ross?
The Art Ross, yeah.
He was trying to win the Art Ross, and I believe he was 3 points back, I think, or 2 points back of Malkin. And it was the final game. And I watched Daniel just turn into the Incredible Hulk. And what was really emotional for me was seeing how you quickly got a sense of how much these brothers care about each other. And it was amazing. I mean, I think he got 3 or 4 points that night. They made a play that's still to this day one of the most beautiful plays I've ever seen. I think Daniel, the shot came from the point. Daniel deflected it through his legs. Henrik got the pass. He was alone with the goaltender, and he made a deke where he pulled the puck back and put it through the middle of his legs and scored to go ahead and to win the Art Ross. And I just cried. I just sat and cried my head off. And it wasn't so much that, you know, he won an Art Ross, or it was more that I just thought, you know what, these guys have, you know, gone through a ton, and man, they're good too. Just, you talk about the salt of the earth, good human beings. And, you know, so many times a good guy doesn't win. And when they did, I just thought, yeah. And you know what? And more that I could see how much that brother loved his other brother, and that he would have killed from or died from. I get goosebumps just talking about it. It just kills me. I wish I had.
I thought you were going to tell me a story about Game 7 against Chicago. You're in Venice with your wife and very, hydrated, I guess, or dehydrated maybe.
No, that wasn't emotional.
Lubricated. We'll use the word lubricated.
Yeah, it was a different type of emotion.
Yeah, no, that wasn't emotional. I mean, I was so happy they beat Chicago, but I was so gone. I mean, my wife we were on a honeymoon, and I was like useless for 2 days after. And she just gets, you know, my beautiful wife, you know, she's so great, and she doesn't get it. Like you know, it's funny, before me, she was with a very famous tennis player before we started dating. And she told me, so we met and we fell in love, and she said, like, you know, he all he does is watch sport, Mike. All he did was watch sport and play video game, and I never want to be again with a man like that. And today we're married for 10 years. We have 3 kids, and she said, like, I married the same asshole. Like, can you beep?
We'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. We'll bleep it. Yeah.
She's like, you're the same guy. Like, you don't ever, like, she said to me, sir, you know how many times she's like, how many hockey games is there, Mike? How many hockey games do they play?
Like 82 every time, and then
great.
Hopefully more.
82. She's like, why so much? You know, it feels like I'm just always watching.
Oh my gosh. Well, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your love of the game and the Vancouver Canucks with the fans of NHL Network. Thank you so much. We really appreciate the time. Again, the album is called Higher. It comes out March 25th. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, ladies. Appreciate it.